Okay. One of the Simanim that we recently learned is Siman Kuf Tzaddik Gimel, which has to do with the Dinim of Dam Betולים. I want to go through certain important Nekudas, because Lemaisa we follow each one of these Nekudas in Machlekes Poskim, and we follow what the Tzemach Tzedek says, or what accepted Psak and Lubavitch is, even though sometimes it could be L'chumra or L'kula versus other opinions. Siman Kuf Tzaddik Gimel, the first, when a woman first be'ila, what's called be'ilas mitzvah, if a woman sees blood, midiraisa, she's tahir. We know midiraisa, the only way a woman becomes nida, she has tumas zav or tumas nida, when she has a hargasha, and then a flow comes. But other forms of blood don't make a woman tameh. Dam besulim, midiraisa is tahir. Misvare, it should also be tahir because it's nothing more than a makkah. It's not blood that comes from the rechem. However, the chachamim were machmer. Chachamim were geyser. The dam besulim has the same din as dam nida, except for the difference that instead of waiting 5 days, we're not machmer to wait the 5 days. We only do 4 days. After dam besulim, we'll wait 4 days, and then she goes to mikveh. In the first bia, if she sees, whether she sees blood or she doesn't see blood, she is tameh midin dam besulim. We say even if she did not see blood, maybe the blood got lost somewhere, and she is tameh. There are those, or mekel, if she does not see any blood whatsoever in bia d'sheina. But the minig is, the Ramah points out already, the minig is lahakel only if there was no gmar bia. What is the definition of gmar bia? So you have Shevet HaLevi says half of the Eiver. That's the middle shitta. You have the Taras Yisrael. Taras Yisrael is a Chassid Sharav. He says ha'ataro miktsas, which is all the way to one extreme that's already considered enough to make a woman tameh, and it's already not in the category of no gmar bia. It's already considered gmar bia. And then you have the Piskei Dinim to the Tzemach Tzedek, who he brings only one shitta. He only brings the Sidri Tahara. Ve'ad sheyichno is kol ha'ever u'bichlal haro. Unless yichno is kol ha'ever, it's not bichlal haro. It's still considered haro. It's not considered gmar bia.
According to someone who paskins, anyone paskins that ataro miktas is considered gmar bia.
It's the Taras Yisrael.
So according to him, if they do that on the first night, he doesn't think it's clean, he can do an actual gmar bia and not be cheshish for anything, because he got a clean mikvah after gmar bia?
Again, no. That's if she does not. If there was no gmar bia, you are mekel. If there is gmar bia, the first night you're machmer.
First night you're machmer. I'm saying for the next time, they'll do a bia with a full aver, and
she'll see blood. She'll be tameh anyways.
Only if you look. You say you don't have to check because you already did a gmar bia with a dika.
Lav dafka you don't have to check. We'll see soon. It's definitely shittas that say that you have to check. Some shittas say it's good to check.
How long do you have to check?
That depends on how long dam besulim is. The dam besulim din is a double-edged sword. You could be the same way. It could be mekel. There's also certain chumras that come along with it. If there was a second, when the second bia and on, if there was no gmar bia on the first time and she did not see any blood, she needs a bdika. If there was gmar bia on the first time, then, like I said, some people say you have to continue doing bdika. Some say we don't. We'll soon see what lemaisa. Now, what is the definition? How long do we consider a woman in the category of dam psulim, and the nafkaminas that go one way or another? There's one Yesodis Dikachuvah from the Tzemach Tzedek, which includes the Tzemach Tzedek, includes the Alter Rebbe, includes his uncle, the Sheres Yehuda. They're all in the same tshuva, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, we're going to start with a much shorter tshuva, because this one you already learned, and that is Siman Kuf Zayin, which we mentioned in the Shiur in the past, on page 150 in your book. That is a discussion about a Yeledes, which after birth was Reya Machmas Tashmish. And over there she felt pain, a lot of pain the first time and saw blood. The second time she felt less pain and saw blood. The third time she felt even less pain. And the question was, is she considered Reya Machmas Tashmish or not by Yeledes? And the Tzemach Tzedek over there is Mekel, but in the beginning of the tshuva, he starts from bringing a Masas Binyamin about a Besula that's Reya Machmas Tashmish. He brings the name of the Ritzvah, he brings the name of the Ritzvah, that a regular woman he understands from the Ritzvah, a regular woman who feels pain in such a scenario, you can't be mekel without bdika sheferes if she sees blood and she feels pain. However, by a besula, he says besula shani, the Master Binyamin brings, va'afilu meshech zman rav k'moi shana chulu. Even for a long time, even a year, by a besula, if she feels pain, you can't be machmer on her to be considered a reya machmas tashmish. That scenario. So we have a inkling of that this reya machmas, that dam besulim is dependent also on the idea of pain. It's not only if you see blood or not, it also has to do something with pain. What exactly? Tzemach Tzedek doesn't discuss in Kuf Zayin because it's not relevant in Kuf Zayin. Tzemach Tzedek really discusses it more in Siman Kuf Nun Daled, which is the tshuva, where Tzemach Tzedek discusses the idea of dam psulim, which is where I mentioned you have the Alter Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek, and the Sheres Yehuda all in one tshuva. Siman Kuf Nun Daled is on page 258 in your book. And over there the story was as follows. A person got married to a girl. The girl was of her body was small, and the definition maybe rach motzar, whatever she was not of a big build. And the first time there was dam psulim, there was blood. Then she went to mikveh. She was with her husband the second time. There was a kesem found on the sheets. There was pain. The Rav was matame. She went to mikveh a second time. Third time the same thing happened. Fourth time the same thing happened. She's getting one time with her husband, a little bit of blood on the sheet, less than the gris, and then she's back to mikveh. Came the fifth time, and this time they came to ask Tzemach Tzedek what to do. Or the lashon is shalu hanashim lama yitamo. The women were asking, why are you making this woman tameh again and again and again? Could be the fact that she's feeling pain is because she's of a small body build and it's painful. It has nothing to do with dam psulim. Could be dam psulim were done already the first time. Why is she going to mikveh again and again? Every time she's getting one night with her husband and back to 4 and 7. So Tzemach Tzedek goes into a whole discussion, what is the din over here in this dam psulim. Takes this different approaches. It starts and says, if I want to look at it me'ikar hadin, when she sees at the second time, when all she sees is she sees a kesem, the spachis mikagris, mitzad adin, l'chayri should be mekel. For us, when a woman sees pachas mikagris, we consider it a kesem. A kesem, the way the Tzemach Tzedek defines it, keloi ras adam. It's as if she didn't see anything. It's not even a suffix. And if she didn't see anything at all, not even a kesem, then also mitzad the fact that she has pain, she should be mutter. Why? Because she already saw blood the first time. The pain isn't a proof that there's still dam psulim, and therefore, if she would not see at all, let's go, the logic is, I guess, being that if she would not see at all, even with pain, we have no svara to say that she is tamei. The same thing by less than a gris. We also, if we're matir when she doesn't see, then seeing a gris, less than a gris on a kesem is the same thing as not seeing. And therefore, she should be tahir. Yeah, and that's how he puts it also in the kitzur. Tzemach Tzedek puts it in the kitzur the second time. Seems medina you could be mekel if she sees less than a gris and a kesem, and for sure if she doesn't see anything, even if she has pain. But then Tzemach Tzedek goes the other way. He says, and this is that's Ois Aleph, Ois Beis. Tzemach Tzedek comes and tells you, farket. When do we say that pain is not a raya for a makkah? We said that we discussed it in the dinim of ksamim. Is only in other cases, not in the case of dam psulim. In the case of dam psulim, we always have a chashash that the fact that there is pain means that the psulim weren't finished yet. And if the psulim weren't finished yet, she's still in the category of a besula, dam psulim. Maybe the second time when she felt pain, it's like the first time. Just like in the first time we say that when she feels that even if you don't find any blood, she's tamei, because we say maybe some blood was there and it got lost. Same thing the second time, if she feels pain the second time, she doesn't see any blood, but she feels pain. She feels pain, must be that there's still psulim there. If there wouldn't be psulim, she wouldn't feel any pain. So therefore, even if you don't see blood, l'chayra, you could say, according to the svara, she should be asur, as long as there's pain, obviously. If there's no pain, it's over. But if there's pain, should be asur, even without seeing anything. And for sure, if there's a kesem, she for sure should be asur. Right? So that's, take it to the other extreme. Yeah, we have first extreme Medina, it seems, Tzemach Tzedek says Medina, you could look at it, that Shbichlal, it's not a problem, for sure, because it's less than a gris. And definitely if she doesn't see anything. And the other extreme, that when she sees pain, even if she has pain, if she doesn't see anything, we could consider it like the original Besulim are still there. Then Tzemach Tzedek points out here something very interesting. What's the reason by dam psulim that we're toila? That we're toila in dam psulim, that we're toila in besulim as long as there's pain? It has to do because it's a midiraisa we're toila. Midiraisa we're toila kolzman in dam psulim, kolzman there's pain, we're toila in besulim. Why are we toila it? Because midiraisa we're looking to be mekel. Midiraisa, we know that dam psulim is mutter. So midiraisa, we're looking to be mekel. So midiraisa, when we say we're toila in pain and we consider pain like dam psulim, it's lahakal. Because we say that a woman is becheskas tahara, and since a woman is becheskas tahara, we're not going to use a suffix to take her out of cheskas tahara. So being that she has pain, and she still has pain, we'll say we'll be toilet in dam psulim and leave her in cheskas tahara. So over here, we'll use the same logic the other way. Being that we're machmir b'dam psulim mid'rabanan. Why are we going to go mitzad asofik and take a woman out of cheskas tahara? She has a cheskas tahara. The same svara of misofik al tasrena could apply over here also. She is, being that we have a suffix, maybe it's not dam psulim. What she saw kesem, maybe it's not dam psulim. So why you should be Aisar her? Shal Tasrena Misafik. It's a Derabanan. Al Tasrena Misafik. The same Svara that in Deraisa we're telling them Psulim. We're going to say we're not telling the Psulim over here. Same thing would apply when there's pain. We have a suffix. Maybe the pain came without any blood. So why are you looking to make it Aser? And the only time that you could say that the blood that came is a result of Besulim is when you have blood. She sees there's a bdika and she sees blood plus pain. Because then the pain is a birur, that the blood that the Lashon HaTzach is a birur, so it clarifies, it's a raya to us, that this blood that came is dam Besulim. Why? Because it came with pain. But without that, if you don't have the blood plus pain, why are you looking to make her Aser? If there's no blood, the pain is not a bitter that it came from Besulim. And if it's a kesem, it's also a suffix. Especially, it's an Achzedek says, as again reminds you, we're talking about it Isur Derabanan, not talking about it Isur Deraisa. By Isur Derabanan, you can't be machmir. He says you shouldn't be machmir more than Acha B'Safik Chumer Derabanan Dam Psulim. Pshita Shanachmir Yoyser Mashakosef Aradbaz. You can't be machmir more than the Radbaz writes. Now, why is this an important thing to point out what the Radbaz writes? The Radbaz that Tzemach brings at the end of Sif Kot and Gimel discusses about a woman that he could be, that he's makel when she finds a kesem, as long as she does not find, I'm talking about Dam Psulim, as long as she does not find in the bdika that she checked herself. That's the Lashon of the Radbaz.
Any Psulim?
Any Psulim? She doesn't find blood, talking about this from the second time and on. She doesn't find any blood in the bdika that she checked herself. And she only found the kesem, then he could be mekel. So the Radbaz says. So let's pause at Tzemach Tzedek for a second. Tzemach Tzedek doesn't discuss later on, does she need a bdika or she does not need a bdika when she doesn't see blood, or when she sees a kesem. Tzemach doesn't discuss this idea. Doesn't tell you lakan or lakan. There are, you could go, there's in the book of Talak Halacha or Farkash, in the Perek of Dam Psulim, he has out of 17 or 18. It's a full long page, one page. Almost the whole page is the footnote, and he goes through all the shittas. Does she need a bdika? Does she not need a bdika? Is it the Chumrah 17, 18, 19? I think 3 or 4 artists one after another. She goes through. Does she need a bdika? Does she not need a bdika? But Tzemach Tzedek doesn't bring you any other shit. He says in the sense it's the Rabban, you can't be machmir more than the Radbaz. You could be mekel more than the Radbaz. Then you can't be machmir more than the Radbaz. So definitely have a svara to say that the fact that Tzemach Tzedek only brought him. It's a shtikol raya that there is a need for a bdika al kopanim lahachmir to make a bdika when there's still pain to still make bdikas. And the Lubavitch Rabbanim that I spoke to, some of them did say that that's how it's done. Still, as long as there's pain, you do a bdika. If there's nothing, it's clear. She's not tummy, but not to be matir without a bdika. The only time we're matir without a bdika is if she forgot to make a bdika, then time passes, then you could be mekel. Okay, but then the Tzemach Tzedek goes now from Sifkot from Ois Daled and on to discuss what the Alter Rebbe says and what the Maharil say. What is this? There was a rumor. A rumor, not a rumor. Noshim in the top of page 260, it's Ois Daled. In the Pneim, the Alter Rebbe, the Tzemach Tzedek calls him Noshim Mumchis. In the Kitzur, the Tzemach Tzedek calls him Noshim Skenis, of the city of Liozne, who told him in the name of the Alter Rebbe that the Alter Rebbe was machmir in as long as there is pain, even if there is no blood, that's the mashmos, even if there's no blood, she is still tummy. That's the Noshim Skenis or Noshim Mumchis in Liozne. Depending if you want to follow the Pneim or the Mumchis or Skenis, whichever one you want to follow. That's what he was told. And this doesn't work with everything that Tzemach Tzedek explained until now. So Tzemach Tzedek says you have to look into even what the Alter Rebbe says, that he is machmir. First of all, that chumrah could only apply not more than the shear that the Chachamim gave in the Gemara for dam psulim. The shear that the Chachamim gave is daled leilas, 4 nights. So that obviously means that the second time and on is no longer. You don't have to worry about the pain. From the second time and on, you don't have to worry about the pain. And the Tzemach Tzedek gives you a svara. Being that Chachamim were not mekel to be toil and dam psulim after this shear, we shouldn't be machmir more than this shear. At least when it comes to a kesem, which is pachas mikagris, and definitely not when there's pain.
Machmir in the sense of consider it still dam psulim.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you put something tzivainim, so it shouldn't be a kesef after 4 times?
You have to see if there's blood. There's no chiyuv b'dika, but if you say that there's you want to know if there's
I'm talking about from the Tzemach Tzedek.
Still, even according to Tzemach Tzedek, if she sees blood, she does a b'dika and she sees blood, she's asa. So obviously, if she does b'dika, she sees blood, she's asa. And when there's a kasem, the fact that Tzemach Tzedek brings the radbaz seems to imply that maybe she does have to make a b'dika. I don't know. Not sure. And he continues. He says, "What Alter Rebbe was machmir," and the Tzemach Tzedek adds, "If we were to believe what the women tell us, it's only talking about a ktane, that over there Chachamim were toilim psulim until nichya maka, and therefore when there's pain." And she's a ktane, over there, the Alter Rebbe was machmer. But if it's not a ktane, the Alter Rebbe was not machmer. Even if there's pain, we don't say that pain without any blood, she is asr. And he adds even more, according to Alter Rebbe, even if she was a ktane, and she didn't find anything, or she didn't have any pain, she's still mutter. If she had pain, she didn't find anything, he says even Alter Rebbe would be mekel. And in the Kitzur, he adds even more about it on the Alter Rebbe. He explains, he puts even more restrictions on what the Alter Rebbe was machmer. And he says only when the blood was found together with zera, because then we say it came from Eisamakim. If it was tam found on the sheet, it's also not a problem, even according to Alter Rebbe. Obviously less than the grease. Yes, so only if it's found only on the mokim with the mokim azera, there's only one kesem on the sodin, and she has pain, then you could be machmer. But if it's found in other places on the sodin, and each place is less than the grease, back to the category of kesem. Even if she found also mokim azera, she found the mokim azera and other places, you still make them. That's how he understands the Alter Rebbe. However, he says, but my uncle, the Maril, didn't agree with me. And he quotes the Maril. The Maril is one paragraph. It's the paragraph of Dvar HaShaila. That's the whole Maril. The Maril holds that you can't be mekel at all, even as long as she feels a little bit of pain. And as long as she feels pain, we say that there's still psulim over there. And he tells him, you have to believe that there's no reason to doubt the Masaidas that the old lady said in the name of the Alter Rebbe. And the main point, you can't take and use the svare that being that Chachamim were only machmer dalad leilis to flip it and say we're learning a kula from a chumrah. The same way, use that svare to be mekel. And Tzemach Tzedek goes and gives a whole long answer. And the main idea of Tzemach Tzedek goes back to the Nekudah. We're talking about something which is the Rabbanon. Something which is the Rabbanon. You want to be machmer, you have to bring a raya. Not the other way around. Someone's being machmer in Divrei Soifrim, he has to bring a raya. Especially when we're talking about a kesem. By a kesem, and any other woman, she would be mutter. You want to come here and say that she would be aser, you have to bring a raya. Why would she be aser? The only reason Chachamim were metame the first night is because in the first night, there's for sure dam psulim. It just got lost. But in the second time and on, it becomes a suffix. So you have a suffix plus a kesem. How can you be machmer? And that's why it's a machzedek svaris, and it's what concludes, especially since we're talking about someone that tevorel ktanim, and for sure there's pain. As long as there is this pain, you could be toile in that it's as long even. I'm saying if there's pain and she sees even if she does not see a kesem, she's for sure mutter. If she sees a kesem, even if she sees a kesem, his pachas make a gris, we're also mutter. So that's the discussion of Machzedek. So we see that the definition of Besulim, as long as there's pain, it's a Machzedek considers it as such. What nafkamin is there? If you define dam Besulim that the category of the dam Besulim continues as long as there is pain, so two things come out of it. First of all, that if she were to see blood, she only has to do 4 and 7, not 5 and 7, as long as there's pain. That's the first point that comes out of it. Yeah, so that second point is maybe there's a bdik, maybe if she sees blood, maybe she sees a kesem, she has to do a bdika because that's a machzedek brings the radbaz. Not that she has to do a bdika every time. Some should say you have to do a bdika every time. It's a machzedek seems brings the radbaz. If she sees blood, if she sees a kesem, she has to do a bdika. But the kesem, she might have to do a bdika. But even though the machzedek brings it a derech hagav, because the rest of the tshuva, the machzedek seems to be makel completely in a kesem. So if you want to say that the machzedek is completely makel in the kesem, you definitely have a mocker to say that, because the machzedek does go in that kav. If there's a kesem, it could be makel completely. You don't have to be choishesh. What's the other nekudah that comes out of it is, as long as she's with this pain, she can't be considered a machmas tashmish. Any blood she sees, not rei machmas tashmish. If she's not rei machmas tashmish, she's not begin rei machmas tashmish, also you can't do this through the 3 bdikas for rei machmas tashmish. You can't do the 3 bdikas. Rei machmas tashmish can only be done in a time when she could see a vesis, and any blood she's going to see could only come from the vesis. So therefore, you would for a woman who gets married to do the first 3 bdikas, according to the Tzemach Tzedek, you're going to have to wait until after all the pain is over, and then she could do the 3 bdikas. But then comes the Rebbe Rashab that to do the 3 bdikas, mashma, you have to wait until after Oyne Benis V'Sachodesh and versus a flogger pass. Then once you're out of the times when could be the blood would come, that's when you could do the 3 bdikas for Roya Machmas Tashmish. So that is the nekudas.
Before they pass. Before the vessels.
After they pass, before the vessels.
Why?
After
they pass. Blood from the vessel.
If what?
Specifically, that if there's blood, you know it's for sure from Machmas Tashmish or not because of the vessel.
Before the Oyna start.
Before the Oyna start, I meant, yeah. Before the Oyna start, yeah. Before them, it's not. If those pass, yeah, you can't do the bdikas anymore. Yeah. So those are the nekudas that come out of this siman of dam psulim. It is a short siman. That's why you ended up with a short shiur.